I'm going to read something. I know it's totally different than my typical unscripted self in this thing, but after about 30 seconds, I'm going to be unscripted. I promise. Is it patriotism or propaganda? Beware the leader who bangs the drums of war in order to whip the citizenry into a patriotic fervor. For patriotism is indeed a double-edged sword. It both emboldens the blood just as it narrows the mind. And when the drums of war have reached a fever pitch, and the blood boils with hate, and the mind has closed, the leader will have no need in seizing the rights of the citizenry. Rather, the citizenry, infused with fear and blinded by patriotism, will offer up all their rights unto the leader, and gladly so. How do I know? For this is what I have done, and I am Caesar. Julius Caesar said that thousands of years ago. And you can draw parallels to that from thousands of years ago to today. And even though there's a thousands of years time difference, people are still largely people. People will always be people. Right here in our own country, the United States of America. I'm sure as many of you just heard me read that, or you're reading it online or whatever, you're drawing all sorts of scary scenarios in your brain about, oh my God, this is our friggin' government. This is the world today. And it's probably always going to be the world to some extent. But here's the big problem, at least in my view, is that even though this kind of stuff philosophically is going on in our culture, our politics, and the citizenry just seems blind, or they don't care, they're apathetic, they're not living consciously, who knows what it is. But depending on who you ask, the Patriot Act, cleverly titled to insinuate that it's patriotic and all that stuff, depending on who you ask, that thing obliterates everything that's in the Bill of Rights. What's patriotic about that? Nothing. But they called it the Patriot Act. Did they do it that way on purpose because, well, they really felt it was patriotic, or because they wanted to make people comfortable with it, so that we would just automatically assume that it's patriotic because of the name? It says Patriot. I don't know, but I do know that most people, actually just about everyone, is going to believe to some degree that government is way too big. I mean, even people on the left and people on the right believe that government is just way too big. And there's no real protests about it. Once in a while, there might be a protest line, some picket signs and things like that, but nobody really has a plan. There's not enough people that challenge the status quo. And most importantly, there's not enough people voting more intelligently with how they spend their money. Not so much how we vote for president or Congress or whomever, but how do you spend your daily dollars? And that's in every area of your life. Agriculture, with the food and so on, the chemical companies, the drug companies, manufacturing, every sector of business. How are you spending your money? Those are votes. Every dollar that you spend is a vote. And the way that we are voting, we're telling our government with a resounding roar of silence that apparently, as a citizenry, we're not offended by what you're doing. Big brother government, we're not offended. So you keep doing what you're doing. You can even get worse, because apparently we're still doing what we've always done. And Julius Caesar said it, man. It's kind of ballsy to actually say that. I mean, obviously, he wasn't quite the pincushion dead guy yet when he said that. But he said it. I think that's a really big show of arrogance on his side. But he said it, and he got away with a lot of stuff because he knows people. And he was ill-willed with his knowledge of people. He certainly was, but I guess he paid for it in the end. But yeah, it's some pretty powerful stuff. And I don't remember ever learning that in school when I went to school. So comment below if you like, but be warned, if you attack somebody else for their beliefs, I will delete your comment. I'm not going to really afford anybody any wiggle room on this, because if I give an inch, I think some people would take miles on this, and I don't want you guys tearing each other down for different opinions and beliefs about what's going on and how you interpret this Julius Caesar quote. So you've heard enough from me. Feel free to comment below. It's all good, except tear downs. Avoid that, so I'll delete you. karate chop to the Adam's apple.